right, Sandra, let me ask you, do you consider yourself a nag? Do you know, apparently women, we nag a lot. Do you consider yourself a nag?
I think I've been called a nag a couple of times, but I'm in between actually. I know when to nag and when not to. I mean, you have to find a fine balance, you know. So yeah, it's okay to nag every now and then.
Do you know what? Benny is standing here, he just said, that's a lie, Sandra. So apparently you are a nag. Am I a nag? I don't know. I don't think
I think you, a little bit. Like I said, we all have a little bit of it in us.
Okay, well, thank you for that, Sandra. All right, going to be discussing, do women really nag? I mean, if you think of old wives' tale, one of the things you hear about females is females tend to nag a lot. Do you agree with that? Well, then let me just define nagging. The dictionary says to annoy, nagging is to annoy by constant scolding, complaining, or urging. Also to torment persistently with anxiety or pain, or to scold, complain, or find fault constantly. So that's nagging. If we go to the Bible, I'll just give you one quote from the Bible. Proverbs 21:19 says, it is better to live in a desert land than with a quarrelsome and fretful woman. That kind of hit me there. All right, okay, we have two guests who are going to be sharing their views about nagging, if it's really women that nag or the men are just trying to be haters. All right, first and foremost, I have with me Senade and also Apiako and Ashong, and they both join me now. Good morning to you both.
Morning.
Good morning. Hi. That Bible quote kind of hit me, but it's all good. It's all good. Let me ask, okay, in 30 seconds, how do you describe nagging?
Basically, you're asking for the same thing over and over again from a particular person usually, so it becomes annoying.
So, okay, I'm coming to you, Sana. How do you also describe nagging? Very short.
To annoy or irritate with peevish comments.
Peevish comments?
Yes.
That's the addition?
Yes.
All right. Let me sort of ask. Okay, so Sana.
Yes.
I know you're in a relationship.
Yes.
Are you in that point where you feel like your woman is a nagger or she's not a nagger?
See, relationships are about responsibilities towards one another. Most women, if things are going relatively well, won't nag. They won't if things are going well. But when the bloke isn't stepping up to his responsibilities, or he constantly needles and does the thing she doesn't like, then she's going to be nagging. But then again, it can also work in the reverse. It can be a turn off as well, because if you nag too much, it can put a damper in your relationships, and it can get you to gradually fall out of love. And it's something men really, really hate with a passion. If you overdo it, he's going to stay out. Not because he's cheating, but he doesn't want to hear you droning on and on and on and on.
Okay, but I asked, are you in a position where you think your woman nags, or you're you're in a nag-free relationship?
No, it's not nag-free per se. But the moment you start doing them things, I will just walk away and leave you to it. Because you see, women don't like being ignored, and half the time it's a cry for attention as well. You see, it's up to us, the guys, to step up. If you don't step up and she keeps on nagging, it's never going to stop. She's just going to go on and on and on.
Okay, now this is what I want to say. If women are being told that we nag too much or we nag too much. However, you've just said it. On the flip side, if you're constantly having to tell the person to do something over and over and over, is there something wrong? Because clearly they're not doing what they're supposed to. Abiako, what do you think?
So it will usually start like this. In an indirect way, I'll say, "Oh, Sana, could you kindly, take out the trash because I have some other things to do." Okay, he thinks it's not an important thing because I've said it nicely. He's watching TV or reading or doing whatever keeps him busy. So after about an hour, I come back. "Oh, Sana, you haven't taken the trash out yet, oh." "Oh, I'll do it. And it continues. So then it gets to the point where I'm irritated because I feel as though I'm breaking my back to, make the home a nice place. And then you, Sana, you're not doing the little thing I've asked you to do. So then I burst out. "Oh, Sana, anytime I ask you to do something, you don't do it. And I'm the only one trying to make this work. Then I become a nag." That's usually how it works. And it's not fair. Now, on the reverse, if he had said it to me, then it would have been a request.
Semantics. Men nag too,
Okay, all right. I'm gonna just take some Bible verses on nagging because once it's in the Bible, that's kind of serious.
Okay.
So let's just kind of take a look at that. I read one earlier, but let's take a look at that.
Okay.
like that one. There's a gender stereotype that says the wives nag and husbands suggest. See, you just kind of put it, actually, it's preempted that. So that if the man is doing it as a request, but if the woman is saying it, it's a nag. So do you feel like sometimes it's unfair to the women in terms of us asking something being called nags, but yet men hardly ever get called nags out?
It is very unfair, and it has its historical placing. I mean, for centuries. Let's even take it out of Africa. In the European Western world, which we see to be the epitome of respect for women, which really isn't entirely true, you've always had the men, speaking in a certain way. And women who generally are seen to be the more submissive sex are the ones who would usually say, "Oh, darling, this is a beautiful dress, isn't it?" There's a tagline there, isn't it? It's a tagline. And taglines are associated with a lack of confidence. And historically, it's women who would usually suggest, and then later on, if she were being ignored, would continue speaking, as we spoke about earlier, and then it would become a nagging issue. So men have been placed in a as it were, in a box where they have a different sort of language because they're heard more easily, and then women, on the other hand, usually have to say things 3-4 times before they're actually heard. So it's unfair because that has trickled down into present day all over the world, where men usually will do a power play. They also feel like they have some kind of strength when a woman has to repeat something a certain number of times, and then they do it when they feel like it.
Okay. All right, Sen, I want to come to you and get your view on that.
Okay.
But we went on the streets to get some views about, do women really nag? Take a look.
Will you help me around here and stop playing with yourself and help me, God darn it?
Annoyed or just a way to get your thoughts across? You decide. Nagging, according to the dictionary, is to annoy by constant scolding, complaining or edging. Psychologists, however, define nagging as persistent talk about issues that need to be addressed urgently. So, we asked who nags more, men or women.
My aunt is a nagger. She's a bit extreme, like she'll start yelling and nagging about every small thing, small details. It's not something to do with gender, it's more like a personality trait.
I think it's the women. Women, first, they are full of jealousy. If they are feeling something like that is happening, then they start nagging their husband. Like, who is that guy I saw with you? Shouting different kinds of shouts.
I think women like nagging more than men. It's true because women like talking. So men should always be ready to listen.
I think it's equal depending on how you see things and how you decide to handle your issues.
Naturally, ladies are supposed to nag. I mean, that's our nature. I want the truth, and the truth doesn't come. So I keep on insisting.
We want to be heard, and then we just get ignored. Because most of the things you argue about is important. It's not important.
How do people usually deal with nagging partners?
Men with hot-tempered, if their wife nag at any time, they are ready to raise up their hand and beat that lady. If you have a gentle heart and you are filled with the Spirit of God in you, I think you can be able to control yourself.
There's no way of stopping her. If you try to stop her, it'll complicate things. So you just let her be.
They should listen to you and pay attention and then hear your views on what you're trying to say. If it's important, you say, oh, okay, understand. Or if it's not, just say, like, cool the person down and let the person understand that it's not important.
Okay, so some views there on the streets. Okay, so I'm going to come straight to you. I know we're sandwiching you, the only man
that's
on
okay.
here.
That's right, I can deal with it.
You can deal with it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so I wanted you to respond to what Apioko just said, and then I'm going to ask you if men also nag, because I know some of you guys do it.
Nagging, wow. It's basically something. All that she said is largely true, but you see, times have changed, and now you have career women as well.
Oh yes.
Most of them have the full day at work and come back and sort out the house. The men can also make life a lot easier by helping out, because if you help out, it it alleviates and reduces the woman's stress levels. Because women do a lot. They multitask. We're not very good at that. We can only do one thing at a time. A woman can be on the phone chopping onions, doing this, and telling the kid to stop. Men can't do that. You know, so it's all about compromise, really. You know what each other likes and doesn't like, so just go out of your way not to annoy your partner. Coming to whether men nag, yes, some men do nag.
Oh yes.
And those who nag are can be worse than the women.
In fact, I want to clap for you there.
They do everything but ovulate. I'm telling you, when men want to do it, it can get really, really bad. You know, the thing is just to be as upfront with your partner as possible. You know she doesn't like A or B, so just work around it. If she doesn't like you staying out too late, please, for the love of God, tone down it's these little things that get them going, you see.
Alright, so I want to actually ask, based on what you've just said, I've also realized that sometimes when a man feels like a woman has gotten to the point of nagging, they feel like, okay, that's it, I'm losing my masculinity as a man because now I'm telling you, you're not listening, and I'm complaining. And you're like, do men find it frustrating if the woman is getting them to that point of nagging, or you think they maybe secretly just enjoy it?
Some get off on it. Yes, some secretly enjoy it. For me, it's not even about emasculation. If it just goes on and on, I'll tell you, you know what, I'm out, and I'm not leaving you, but I'm going out for you to sort of calm.
So
yes, because half the time they're having a go at you, it's because they want your attention. And no woman, young or old, likes being ignored. They absolutely detest it. I mean, I can be there with you and I'll just switch off. I'll be there with you physically, but emotionally and mentally, I'm elsewhere.
You're gone.
Yes. And when you finish, I ask you, are you done?
Okay, well, nagging, I don't think is always a negative thing.
No.
What are some of the positives to nagging, or just asking over and over and over to get your way?
Yeah, I mean, repetition. When you're repeating something and you're doing it in a way, see, there's a difference when you're shouting it and when you're speaking it in tones that you know that
so you can nag in a romantic way.
Yes, in a romantic way, you really can. And if you do that, chances are you're going to be heard. You see, there's a difference when you're speaking and, like Sana said, he can switch out. He's there, but he's not there. When your man switches off, and you're still talking and you're shouting at him, you don't get your concerns addressed. But if you learn the art of nagging, let me put it that way.
Okay.
The art of nagging.
Is there a class I can join?
Yes, please.
It's not what you say, it's how you get your message across.
Yes.
Okay. Honey, please put out the trash.
How that? Toss your hair a bit.
The hair. Okay.
Or honey, if you do take out the trash, I'll make your favorite meal today. Things like that. Men also like their egos.
But then that's not nagging, isn't it? Then that's bait.
But you're still repeating the same thing over. If we're supposed to be going by definitions, you're still repeating the same thing over.
But it's
and over
not.
No. And then something for the men to understand. If your woman stops nagging, you should be worried.
Very.
Because it means she's ceased to care.
Yes, she's switched off.
And it means she's going to get that attention that Sana is talking about somewhere else.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. I just want to read out a couple of social media messages. Clive says, when I put out, do women nag? He said, is this a trick question? He just said, what are you trying to say, Clive? Also, Owusu Setra says, indeed, you women rely... Oh, you really like nagging, Papa. That's not true. All right, I'll do one last one. Nana Safo says, for women, it's natural and they can't stop, especially when you are online on WhatsApp and they have nothing to chat about. Oh my goodness.
That's different, though. That's virtual, though. So you really can't see what's going on,
But that's actually worrying that now we've gone to virtual nagging.
Yeah.
Would you call yourself a nagger? Are you a virtual nagger on WhatsApp?
I'm not a nagger. In fact, my boyfriend will tell you that sometimes he texts me and says, hey, you've dogged me today. I've tried to make myself a bit scarce in his life in that sense, you see. And again, it comes with the art. But when I do come on, if there's something I've asked him to do and he hasn't done, I'll say, oh, by the way, after he says, oh, you've dogged me, oh, no, you have. But by the way, have you done so that I asked you to do? Okay. But, some women do nag on WhatsApp. oh, I saw you were online, last seen 2:52
But
p.m.
you didn't reply my
message and you didn't call me. It means you had nothing to do. But forgetting that he could have been in some kind of a WhatsApp meeting, because now everything, not just nagging, is virtual.
Okay, before you do that, I want to just take a look at the, I guess the advantages, the good sides of nagging. So take a quick look at this on the back.
We tend to perceive women as talkative. Yes, in as much as sometimes it is overly done. I think that in itself is kind of like healing for them, because there is an issue, they will talk about it, and their stress levels are reduced, unlike men who will tend to keep things to themselves. And sometimes I am tempted to believe that it is because, yes, we have been socialized as men to try and always ensure that our egos are working to the fullest. We have been socialized to kind of like demonstrate how manly we are. That possibly could account for why we die earlier than the women, because there are so many problems and we carry all the problems. Why not talk about some of these problems, and we have that relief that we are supposed to have.
Right, so there's that video there. That's Dr. Emmanuel Asampong, clinical psychologist, University of Ghana, and he's just kind of sharing some with us some thoughts. Okay, so I know you were saying something.
With the whole virtual nagging thing, you see, people take it to a different level. You see, being online and being in person are two totally different things. I can come off as being very fiery and come on strong online, but I'm in person. I'm not like that.
You're just chilled out.
Yes, very. I'm so mellow. It's unbelievable. But people tend to misconstrue and misinterpret what I put out there because they perceive me to be the person they see online. But that's a very serious misconception right there.
Okay, and we'll look at some of the remedies for nagging. Before we look at that, do you have any remedies for nagging?
I think Sana mentioned one of the key ones earlier, compromise. And also talking out those compromises.
Yes.
So we sit down and we have conversations. There's this that you do and I don't like it. And I must say that if you are unwilling to compromise in whatever relationship you find yourself, then you really have no business
being in it in the first place.
You're probably with the wrong person. There's definitely a give and take about it. And I'd say that's, for me, one of the biggest remedies that we could have for nagging.
Okay, I have a Twitter message here from Forever Loving Jar, who says to me, no, because I've never seen a chick nag someone before. I think he's trying to be sarcastic.
It's very funny.
A bit of a bad joke. Okay, she sort of mentioned something. Other remedies for nagging that we know of?
Yeah, basically, especially when it comes to the blokes, just step up to the plate. If there's things she does, fully well she doesn't like. I don't want you coming back late. I don't want you drinking too much. Just go along with it. Sometimes it's nice to just do things nicely and keep the peace. Because I don't particularly like coming home and seeing my significant other upset or refusing to talk to me, because I know exactly what I've done to upset her.
There's always a reason.
Yes.
There's always a reason.
Yes.
Okay. My little remedy is sometimes when I feel like I have to say it and I can't help myself because I'm a talkative. I'm like 1, 2, 3.
You count in your head.
4, 5. That's what I tend to do. So maybe you could try that. All right. Let's look at some remedies for nagging from a professional, not from me.
What we need to understand is that, yes, women by their nature can talk. That is not to say that they just will talk about anything at all. You understand? I mean, let's not try and paint them that way. A woman is talking because there is something that has to be addressed from the perspective of the person who is experiencing it, as in listening to all those complaints. I mean, the tendency is for the person to say that, this guy or this lady is a troublesome person, and that kind of thing. And I think that that in itself, it's also an indication that you are not being sensitive to whatever the person is saying. You are sensitive when the person has said it and you have taken an action, actually done something and giving the person some feedback, but if there isn't any feedback, or you have not done anything for the person to see that, oh yes, you are taking, sometimes people would say that, oh, I'm doing something about it, but I'm waiting. When I am done completely, then I will tell you. That's not effective feedback. I mean, even if you have been able to move a step or 2 steps, let the person know. Then the person knows that at least something is being done. When that is done, subsequently the person is not likely to come talk about the whole issue.
Okay, so there you have it. One of the things before we wrap up, I want to sort of throw in the mix is I feel also that age also has something to do with it. I know my mother's watching, but I know when the women get older, they tend to repeat themselves a lot. Do you agree with that as well?
Absolutely. And also when other ailments set in, like dementia.
Oh, okay.
Yes, they tend to repeat. They don't mean to, but they tend to repeat. And in that respect, you have to learn to be patient. You understand? You have to they don't mean to. It's what their mind tells them to do, you see. But
then that's not just a man thing. I think that's just when people get older. And, the grandfathers and daddies also tend to repeat themselves a lot as well.
Absolutely.
Okay, last words for you on this.
I just want to say that, nagging is real, as we know. And yes, both men and women nag. But we should try in our daily lives to also, as women, do things that keep us busy. Because you see, sometimes when you don't have enough keeping you busy, you expect the other person to keep you happy. So when you get home, maybe he's busy on the computer, find a book to read maybe. Join a society. It also reduces the stress level so that when you come home, you do know how to approach a situation when you're talking to your significant other.
I think that's very good there. I want to say a big thank you to my guest, first and foremost, to Sana Day for joining me, and also to Apioko Ashong as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you.